What's up, everybody? I'm John Salter, and welcome to Switch 2 News Live, the only uncut, unedited, and unfortunately for everyone involved, unrehearsed Switch 2 news show on the YouTube. My producer, Mikey Mike, has ripped the latest Switch 2 news from the headlines, transferred them to note cards, and delivered them to me to deliver to you. Our first story tonight, Switch 2 selling 75% faster than Switch. I would say than the Switch. That's how I'd probably write that, Mikey, but you know, just what I would do. But hell yes, that's what I want to hear, and I'm not surprised at all. The Switch completely blew up. Greatest selling launch system ever. Nintendo made plenty of systems, had them in stock, and you can use that. The fanboys want to use that as an excuse of why, oh, it's only selling good because they made a lot of them. Well, hey, why doesn't every other company make a lot of them? Why does everybody else just make, we're going to make just a handful of them in hopes that they sell. And then when they sell out, pretend like they did something special. No, Nintendo saw it coming. They produced as many systems as they possibly could, got them ready, went through all the tariff stuff, whatever nonsense you want to put out there, they delivered and sold a ton, and they're still selling them. And they're right now, I don't know if you can walk in and get one right now. The last time, as a matter of fact, I was at Walmart 2 days ago, and they did not have any in stock. But the time I went before, they had 12 in stock, and I was going to post like a update video, but I didn't. My apologies. But not surprising at all that's selling faster than the Switch, because it's better. It's a great system. We're going to get third-party support. We're going to get the games that we couldn't get on the Switch because of the lack of power. I think Nintendo did a great job to deliver what we want. Of course, we're never going to get everything. I can sit here and nitpick things that it doesn't do, but in general, Nintendo's delivering. No layoffs. You don't hear all this crazy stuff going on with Nintendo that you hear from all these other people, these fanboys of other systems that are sitting there crying about, oh, they're laying people off, they're doing that. All these things that these other companies are doing. I don't hear Nintendo doing that. And sounds like it's working out, bro, because the Switch 2 is selling 75% faster than the Switch, which, in my opinion, is the greatest selling system of all time. All these BS numbers that the Sony comes out with, every time the Switch passes it up, Sony's like, oh, we pulled another 20,000 sales out of our ass, even though this system hasn't sold for 20 years. Anyway, I digress. What else do we have in here? Okay, so we got some reasons here. Satisfaction. The satisfaction factor on the Switch was high, even though the system didn't perform as well as we kind of hoped it would, but the satisfaction was high. Therefore, sales are larger on the Switch too. And I believe Nintendo is improving and delivering more than they did on the Switch even. Backwards compatibility, you're getting it with the full library. Buy the Switch 2 right now, and there's plenty of exclusives that have come out already, but we already have the full library of the Switch, and we have enhancements. Some games are just inherently enhanced, play better because the Switch is a better system. So we have backwards compatibility, full library at purchase. Still selling well after launch. Went over that. Can't wait. Oh, so yeah, can't wait to hear from the haters why the excuses. Yeah, this is a good one, Mike. I like that. I can't wait to hear all these excuses of why it's selling 75% faster than the Switch. There's got to be some reason. It can't be that it's a great system, that it's Nintendo, and that people actually love and play Nintendo, a higher percentage of people more than PlayStation or Xbox. It can't be that. It has to be something ridiculous, like, you know, families bought more than one. You know, watch my I have a top 10 Sony fanboy excuses of why Switch 2's #1 selling system of, I don't know what the hell the name of it is, but that's it. Watch that video and you'll see some of these ridiculous reasons. That's what we have there. That's story number 1. Man, I think I might have taken the 5 minutes up on that story. Hopefully we can make that time up. Before we get to the next story, please, if you like what you see here on the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of future video releases. And let's move on to story number 2. Devs struggling to get dev kits. This is a gripe, and this is a big deal, because the less dev kits that are in the hands of developers, the less we're going to see third-party games or ports. So I do like the idea that Nintendo is not playing favorites because a developer may be a bigger company. They are sending dev kits out. It almost seems like they're favoring independent developers. And I'm not completely hating on that, because independent games there's a lot of great games on the eShop, and I own a ton of them that I bought at really competitive prices that are great games. So I'm not against that. Maybe Nintendo should have spent a little bit more time getting the dev kit scenario under control. It took some time away from the production of the system. I mean, you got to balance there, I think, you know. But my guess is they erred on the side of let's get systems in people's hands. Because bottom line, I've been in this for a long time. I've been playing video games since the day they were created. I worked for a resale company that also sold new games during that 16-bit, 32-bit, what I consider the golden age of video games. And the one thing that trumps everything is user base. When you get that user base, it's game over. And Nintendo, I honestly feel it's game over for the Switch right now. Nintendo would have to completely drop the ball, which I don't think they're going to do. So that user base is huge. So I would prioritize that over, having dev kits ready if that was a choice. We'll see. That's just, just my opinion. So I don't know what this is, the opposite of what you think. I don't know what that means, Mikey Mike. It doesn't matter. I can go on my own anyway here. Yeah, small devs are getting their kits. Development time is going to be slowed down, and release of third-party games is going to be slowed down. So we're probably not going to see games as quick. And this may be a reason why we're seeing something like, was it Elden Ring? Why am I getting it? Yeah, I think that's the game everybody's complaining about. It's dropping frames. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Did they get a dev kit late? There's all kinds of questions that pop up here, but it's all hearsay. It's all a guess game. It's all us opining on what is the negative to this. But there is no positives to this. I'll tell you that right now. There's zero positives to struggling to get dev kits in developers' hands. And what else do we have? Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if these developers can build their own tools. I'm not a game developer, but I'm not a developer, but I do scripting. I do a lot of other things that involve quote unquote programming, my real job. And we write our own tools. So I don't know if that's even possible for something like the Switch 2 to do something like that and try to release something without a dev kit. Don't know how that works, but it seems like it's a problem. And let's move on. Mikey Mike, good job so far. Rumored PS6 handheld could steal the Switch 2's best features. Love it. Oh, shocker. Sony's trying to duplicate what Nintendo's doing. Really? The Switch 2 that's garbage and the Switch that was a dumb idea to begin with? Wow, now Sony is coming out with a PS6 handheld, rumored coming out with a PS6 handheld that does everything the Switch does. So what are we going to hear the fanboys complain about now? How it's the same thing, but it's better because it has a Sony label on it. I can't wait to see the mental gymnastics that come from this, if this rumor is even true. So what do we have here? It's PS6 handheld. Wow. Shocker. It's awesome. And it's a losing battle. Nintendo's got 10 years on you. They know the pitfalls. There's things that this is what I know from being in the development world and doing things for a long period of time and somebody else tries to jump in on it. There's so many things that person or that company does not know that they think is, oh, that's going to be easy. We'll just copy what they're doing. When your company or Nintendo for that matter has already gone through the trials and tribulations and knows all these pitfalls. So now, like with the Switch 2, complain all you want, but there's going to be some things that are streamlined and done differently that Sony's going to learn. They're going to learn what those pitfalls are. So if they do release a handheld, funny because of course we just proved that the Switch 2 is a great system, a great concept, because now it's being copied. And what are we going to do when this happens though, Sony fans? What are you going to do when this handheld comes out and it's not as powerful as the PS5? And if it comes out late enough down the road, it possibly could be more powerful or as powerful, but it's not going to be a huge jump like a console would be from console age to console age. So now you're going to have a handheld that's right around the power of the Switch. So what are you going to do then? Oh my God, we don't have the frame rates or the T-flops. Whoa, how are you going to live life? Those are ridiculous things anyway, because it's how good a game is. You can program a game around the system and make a great game. It's about the games, not the system. That's what a lot of people need to learn. And we'll get into that in another rant. What do we have? Less or equal power to the PS2. So power wise. So now you're going to be in the same boat. Again, these are the pitfalls. I don't even know if I want to say pitfalls, but maybe stumbling blocks and things that maybe Sony's going to figure out the hard way and PlayStation fans are. As Nintendo fans, we really don't have to worry about that because Nintendo has always erred on the side of older technology as opposed to price, as opposed to trying to find that fine line to deliver something that can play the games that they want to make, that people can make, that the system's good enough to play. I mean, for God's sake, we go back and we play Super Nintendo games and talk how great they are all the time. So that's the PS2 handheld news, and that's it. That is it for this edition of Switch 2 News Live. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification and get notifications of future videos, and I'll see you in the next video.